After record-breaking warmth over the weekend and above normal temperatures today and tomorrow, we go back to winter for much of this week. And it gets started with a snowstorm. Winter storm watches have been issued for a good portion, actually almost all of southern New England into the mid-Atlantic. And then we have that batch of pink right in the middle. That's winter storm warnings, where it is likely that we will pick up the highest amounts of snow. And that includes part of western Mass. The areas most uncertain are going to be right on the northern fringes of this coastal low. The low is expected to pass just south of Nantucket. Because of its distance, it doesn't look like the highest amounts will be up into Berkshire County or even the northwestern hills. The highest amounts will likely stretch across the Litchfield Hills into the Catskills down into the Pocono Mountains. I think that's where we'll see those 12 to maybe 16-inch amounts. Western Mass, it's going to be tough because we are not that cold. In fact, obviously tomorrow we are dealing with very warm air still. Then as the storm system rolls in, it's going to rapidly intensify. It undergoes what we call bombogenesis. So yes, it technically should become a bomb cyclone. As it rapidly intensifies and it's a quick mover, it's going to be pulling in colder air. So we're expecting mainly snow, and we are just far north enough to where it's not going to be incredibly heavy wet snow. That wet snow that brings power outages, that's a little bit more likely close to the I-95 corridor. So Connecticut's going to have a bigger concern there. For us, it's looking like 31 to maybe 33 degrees during the duration of the storm. Plus, it gets colder throughout the day on Tuesday, and an even colder air mass is going to be drifting in behind the storm system for Wednesday and Thursday, along with some gusty wind, too. So here's the storm system currently bringing heavy rain, flash flooding, and some severe weather across the deep south, some snow right now in Oklahoma and Texas. Right now for us, we've got some fair conditions, and in fact, temperatures should drop down below freezing finally tonight. Then as we head into Tuesday, I'm going to start off with the big view, then we're going to look at your 24. We've got precipitation arriving after midnight. So Monday's dry. It's early Tuesday morning before the sun comes up. Snow gets started with the heaviest snow possibly falling during the morning and into the early afternoon as this coastal low makes its way south of Nantucket. But it's a fast mover. So during the afternoon, snow will end from west to east. We'll be dry by the evening, and we'll be dealing with blustery and cold conditions into Wednesday. So now a close look here with your 24. Fair skies out there tonight, even mostly clear for a few hours, allowing temperatures to drop back down into the 20s. But a fast rebound on the way of good sunshine. By noon tomorrow, we're already back into the lower 40s. Middle to upper 40s expected for Monday afternoon. Forgive the quick movement of this model. We're still dealing with a gradual buildup of cloud cover tomorrow evening, but again, we're also still dry. Wet weather again approaches several hours after midnight through early Tuesday morning. It should begin as snow, but a wet snow certainly at first. Then colder air will gradually start to come in, and we'll have temperatures dropping throughout the day Tuesday. We're around 32 degrees with moderate to even heavy snow falling at times Tuesday morning during the commute. It'll continue throughout the morning. So, 2-hour delays, not looking like a good idea. I have a good feeling most, if not all, schools will be canceled for Tuesday. 8 to 12 inches is what we're going with for the majority of the area. The highest amounts likely here in the southern Berkshires. Farther north, about 4 to 8 inches, and it might even be on the lower end of that because of the distance of the storm. All depends on the track. If the track shifts farther north, the numbers will as well. So it's definitely still one to watch. Gusty breezes will kick in Tuesday afternoon. We could get some gusts topping 30 miles an hour. It's also going to usher in colder air, so wind chills as we go into Tuesday night will drop into the low 20s, and by Wednesday morning, wind chills will likely be in the teens and single digits. A cold week ahead for sure. Thursday we'll have increasing clouds, and then Thursday night into Friday, a clipper could bring some minor snow accumulation, possibly impacting Friday morning's commute. Another chance for some snow on Saturday, followed by blustery and slightly milder weather going into the following week. Chris?